One of the questions we get asked a lot about is finishing, and during finishing stages, what we do. And a lot of people have come to us and said, you know, they sand in between or they use steel wool in between. And I know when they say to us that they use steel wool in between coats, the hairs on the back of Chuck's neck stand up. Why is that?
Well, specifically, we get this question a lot with using shellac because people like to level that surface down a little bit, get rid of any of the dust and dirt that's trapped in there. And the idea is if you're using steel wool in between coats, now shellac sticks to virtually everything, but it cannot stick to oil. And there's so much oil used in the production of steel wool that when you rub out in between coats, there's a good chance you're leaving behind an oil film.
Yeah, and why take a chance at it? I mean, if you know this is what's happening, then why take a chance?
We know that rubbing out in between coats with steel wool, and this is just some stuff that we picked up at our local hardware store, ordinary production stuff. And the other pad that we've got here is some of that oil-free stuff. Now you would think, I mean, first of all, steel really isn't flammable. Not until you get it up to a tremendous temperature. So theoretically speaking, that's a pad full of steel wool. But there's so much oil in there that I'm betting that it's going to burn.
Go ahead, man.
So,
all right, so here it is. Regular steel wool from the hardware store. Interesting.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so you guys can see it burning. Here's the fun part. Watch this.
Fanning the flames again, Mr. Huey. Wow, I can actually feel the heat coming off of that.
All right, so something's burning in there, and it's not the steel. It has to be the oil that they use as they make this because, you know, they're shredding this into fine fibers. They got to have some way of cooling down the instruments and stuff.
Sure. Now, we also realize this is not the definitive scientific test.
But it's fun.
You know, but the logic still holds, okay? Steel isn't necessarily going to burn at a butane temperature, okay? And certainly oil-free steel wool shouldn't burn at all now, should it?
No, so, but let me take this off. I think it's out, but I'm not going to try it, but I will lay it on Chuck's bench, no problem.
Thanks.
All right, so
cut a little hunk of that and
here's a hunk of the oil-free
there you go.
Steel wool. All right.
You get the honors.
I get to play with this one? Cool. I'm going to be daring. Hey, this isn't going to burn, right?
No.
It's not going to burn, right?
Wow, that actually went quicker than the other stuff and throws off more heat.
Yeah, so oil-free, I'm kind of doubting it.
Probably less oil, but still, we're going to go right back to that. Why would you take a chance? It's always much better to use sandpaper or...
Hey, and this is it. You know, if you like going through and using this type of product, we recommend these man-made kind of steel wool. This is imitation, if you will. This is Merlin by Merca. We have this in the shop all the time. And I'm one of those guys, I do like using this product as I'm working with shellac, especially on molded edges, because you can make this product mold to those edges without burning the corners and things.
Sure.
So I'm a big fan of this, and I've always had it in the shop. So if you want to use this type of product in between your layers of shellac, make sure that it's a man-made product that doesn't have oil. Now, this stuff burns, just like the other ones do. However,
he's just a pyromaniac.
It doesn't burn because of the oil. It burns because it's a plastic.
And it's flammable.
Right.
So, if you catch nothing else here, don't rub out in between coats with steel wool, and whatever you do, keep your lighter away from your steel wool packs.
And the other thing is, if you're using steel wool after you're done with your shellac, you know, when you're rubbing out at that point, no problem at all. Just go for that. But again, it burns. It's got oil. It's going to mess up your finish.